How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Steins Linear Bounded Phenogram. Still here in Kirisu's story, still hiding out here at Ferris's home. Ferris's father is alive in this world line. Ferris's father has connections to other characters, such as Ferris's father, which is still blowing my mind. I keep talking about it, but it's still pretty crazy in my opinion. But we're still hiding out here. Okabe's probably unconscious or dead, who knows. The whole tragedy that we're used to seeing in the original Steins Gate pertaining to Mayuri here in the Alpha World lines, that occurred, but these events occurring never occurred in any of the instances, either one works, and anything we've seen in the original Steins Gate. It's a very interesting and unique perspective that we're seeing out of Kirisu. The next morning, after waking from a good night's sleep, I lightly freshen up my appearance and head to the living room. There I see the exhausted Yukitaka Oji-sama, who looks to have stayed up all night making phone calls, and Kuriki-san, who stood by his side in support. The news is on the big screen TV, perhaps to provide them with alternate sources of information,
Kuris-chan, ohayo.
おはようございます。どんな状況ですか？
あまり思わしくはないね。
It seems that Yukitaka Oji-sama has infiltrated the Rounders organization through negotiation and compromise. He has been able to learn the location of several low-level members, as well as a few agents that pass orders along to them. In some cases, he's even able to capture them, but he's yet to obtain any information regarding FB or Mayuri and Hashida's whereabouts.
どうやら予想以上に彼らにとって今回の行動は重要な価値を持ったものだったみたいだね。情報の隠蔽や迅速な行動からそれが伺える。
In front of Yukitaka Oji-sama lay several documents and maps with numerous red markings on them. A quick look revealed that these were not only maps of Japan, but of Far East, Southeast Asia, America, and Europe. There were large-scale maps, as well as more detailed ones. Several points had been marked as predicted locations, some of which it seemed had already been investigated.
普通はここまでやれば反撃に出るか交渉に出るかしてくるものだけどね。
According to Yukitaka Oji-sama, the fact that they hadn't done either indicates how high priority their mission is. Sometimes when prioritizing a single objective, an organization will consider all related losses necessary to its success. Excuse me there, goddamn. Yukitaka Oji-sama said that the Rounders' response, or lack thereof, to his actions was in line with this strategy. For CERN, the Rounders' governing body, and the Committee of 300 who controls them, gaining sole control of the time machine must be an uncompromisable goal. God damn. If one can control time, they can manipulate the past to redo any and all operations until their success ensured. For them, nothing is impossible. As I said before, this is the power of a god. Who in their right mind would simply hand it over to someone else? If they wish to establish themselves as rulers of the world, their stance is a matter of course. The problem is, that puts the rest of the world at a major disadvantage. Unsurprisingly, Yukitaka Oji-sama is no longer calm and collected. He's ready to throw hands, man.
圧力をかけ続けてはいるけれどあまり芳しくはない。このまま300人委員会と真正面から渡り合うのは得策じゃないが。
Although he said this, his expression told me that he hasn't ruled the idea out.
Papa.
ルミホ、おはよう。
Farah's-san made her way into the living room and seemed to grasp what was going on just by looking at Yukitaka Oji-sama. Sitting behind Yukitaka Oji-sama, she leans toward him and embraces his arm.
心配をかけてしまったか。でも、パパはまだ大丈夫だよ。
Farah-san looked conflicted. She's so worried about Mayuri, Hashida, and Okabe that she can hardly stand it, but she's also worried about her father working himself to the bone to save them. Perhaps Yukitaka Oji-sama is the type to push himself, whether fighting for his daughter's friends or for his beloved town of Akihabara. There are certain things he can't back down from. So it seems Farah-san is worried that he'll push himself beyond his limits. But at the same time, maybe we can't save Mayuri and Hashida without Yukitaka Oji-sama doing that. I imagine this is quite the dilemma for her. Yeah, probably.
ありがとう、ルミホ。
said Yukitaka Oji-sama as he caressed Farah-san's face. Then, as he reached for the phone to contact another negotiator, a piece of news appeared on the flat-screen TV.
次のニュースです。本日未明、葛西臨海公園の近くの海でワゴン車が1台海の中に沈んでいるのを釣りに来ていた会社員が発見しました。
The TV shows footage of Tokyo Bay. As the footage continues, a box-shaped van is pulled out of the water by a crane. The crane slowly moves the van over towards land and places it on a blue tarp. For some reason, this makes me incredibly uneasy. Is this live footage? I don't like it. Are my nerves being hypersensitive? Unpleasant thoughts rush through the back of my mind. They're thoughts I don't want to think about, but I can't help it.
車内からは10代と思われる女性の遺体が発見されており、警視庁では身元確認を急いでいます。
Well, I shouldn't be laughing. It's more like an uneasy laugh. We knew that she was going to die. That was for certain. It's the Alpha World line. There's no way around it. It's going to happen. But for it to happen like that, fuck, dude. Maybe it's because it's like the perspective of somebody else other than Okabe. The inorganic, emotionless voice of the newscaster resonates from the TV, and then some of the items left in the car were displayed on the screen. Man, that's fucked up, bro. Farah-san stands up without a word. Her eyes open wide as she witnesses something unimaginable. A throbbing sound pulses loudly in my ear.
そんな
On the screen were a recognizable hat and a green cell phone, both of which once belonged to someone we knew very well. I'm gonna kill this fly. There has been this fucking fly in my house all day, like even before I recorded this, stretching all the way back to this morning when I recorded something else. God damn. It's really killing the mood, I'm sorry. It's just really irritating. Farah-san shakes her head like a child would. I don't want to accept this. I can't. This is something I should have been prepared for. After what Okabe told me, I should have predicted this. But neither of us were able to accept it. There was no way we could. Farah-san and I were both so stunned that we couldn't take our eyes off the screen. That's why we didn't realize. Bro, don't do that. Fucking dumbass fly. Honestly, what I'm really worried about is this fly, like, flying in front of my microphone. Like, I don't know what the fuck that's gonna do. That's what really worries me. Alright, so that he had woken up and had entered the living room. I turn around to face the voice behind me. There was Okabe, whiter than a piece of paper. Mayuri! 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 It's weird seeing a sprite during the yelling. Holding his head in his hands, he drops to his knees as if to repent. Hearing him scream, as if his spirit had been torn to 1,000 pieces, I understood for the first time humanity's ability to vocalize such grief. But at the same time, his lament made me accept the undisputable reality of our friend's death. Okabe's scream was evidence that Mayuri really was dead. Up to this point, I'd been deluding myself into thinking that those items they found and the corpse were all fake. That way, I'd be able to say that I couldn't accept Mayuri's death until I saw it with my own eyes. But I was just lying to myself, pathetically trying to obscure the truth, the opposite of what a scientist should do. That's right, I understood the moment I saw the hat and cell phone on the screen. That our precious ally, our friend, was gone from this world, that I would never see her again. But I couldn't accept that, not like this. It's why I tried to say that it was fake, to separate it from reality to fool myself. But that's nothing more than shallow folly. The reality is before my eyes, the truth stands before me. I know that, I understand, I accept it. She's gone, Mayuri is gone. And Okabe, he gets thrown into the darkness, to the pit of despair and sadness. At the same time, I can't allow myself to be lost in grief, both because the scientist inside me still wants to maintain control of the situation at hand, and because I'm in the presence of someone in a much deeper state of grief. Beating his head with his fists and crying, Okabe continues to wail. I grab his hand, hoping to get him to stop hitting himself, but he quickly breaks out of my grasp. He screams into the void, cursing the Rounders and CERN. His screams held such pain, it felt as though they could tear apart the heart of whoever heard them. Though no matter how much pain his listeners felt, his pain was worse. I couldn't take it. I hated seeing the person I love reduced to this. Seeing the person I love in such pain. Is there something I can do for him? Anything? Why can't I help alleviate his pain? Helplessness and despair consume my heart. These are not my own feelings, they're Okabe's. His voice alone filled me with his agony and grief. Farah-san and I couldn't do anything for Okabe but embrace him. It was all we had left in us. Kyotoki-san extends his hand. Suddenly, Okabe slumps to the ground unconscious, just as he did yesterday.
こう連続で眠らせるのは良くないのですが、このままの方がよほど危ないかと思いますので。
We simply hold on to Okabe in silence, shaking our heads. Kyotoki-san seems apologetic, but he provided Okabe with more peace than we could. We have no right to object. This is how useless we are. Our combined experiences, my genius status. None of that means anything right now. Just as Okabe laments being unable to save Mayuri, I am unable to save Okabe. I can't even start to what the fuck is pain? To get rid of his pain. Let's just put him to sleep forever. If only I had Okabe's reading Steiner ability. I couldn't use the time machine, or I could use the time leap machine to change places with him. But even that is nothing but a wish.
Okabe. Okabe.
I hold on to him. muttering his name over and over as he'd done with Mayuri only moments before. I can sense Yukitaka Oji-sama and Kyoriki-san's concerned eyes on me, but this is all I can bring myself to do. Ah, we have a call from Papa. My cell phone rings and snaps me out of it. I open my cell phone automatically and press the pickup button.
Papa.
Mata.
パパ、岡部を助けて。岡部。
Damn, she just straight up broke down here.
何を。
助けて。お願い。私じゃ。岡部。
Feeling useless and awash with despair, I break down, sobbing and crying the moment I hear Papa's voice. Not because of the trauma, trepidation, and fear I associate with him, but because I heard the voice of the one who loved me and watched over me as a child. And Papa, taken aback by my tears, seemed like he couldn't even begin to get mad or scold me. Though it was only much later that I realized this. I don't remember most of our conversation, but I was probably babbling incoherently. The overwhelming stress, the years of friction between Papa and me, and the helplessness of being unable to save Okabe drove me close to infantile regression. Seriously, they either include one too many of a word, or add in some shit, or take away some shit that make a sentence grammatically correct, and it really fucks with me. I already make enough mistakes as is whenever I record visual novels and read aloud or even talk, but man, they really make it difficult. I had to let my emotions run wild, something I would normally try to avoid in front of Papa, of all people. What I do remember is that I repeated Okabe's name and help over and over. Neither my dignity as a scientist nor my appearance and manners as a member of society remained intact. I was simply overflowing with raw emotion. It's a wonder I was able to communicate anything at all. But during this time, I was amazed that Papa was actually patiently listening to me. Maybe my unusual behavior convinced him that something was really wrong. He may have tried to interject at one point or another, but if I did, I didn't hear it. Wait, if I did? You mean he did? There are so many fucking problems with this shit, man. I am very disappointed, in all honesty. It's really taken away the immersion. He certainly didn't hang up on me, at least. I don't remember there being, much issues, or any, in the original, or Steins Gate Zero for that matter. So, By the time I began to come to my senses, I had been venting my emotions, at Dad for more than 20 minutes. At that point, I was just sobbing.
Papa.
I'm gonna kill this fucking fly, dude. I really need to, it's... Did I kill it? Please tell me I think I killed it. I hope I did. I really hope I killed this fucking fly, man. It's been, the biggest pain in the ass all day. I don't know if I did, though, because I hit it with my hand, and I don't know where, if there's a corpse, I don't know where it's at. I just looked on my floor. Well, if there's still something buzzing around, then I guess I got my answer on that, and now I need to remember to wash my hands after this recording session.
まったく、いまいましいやつだ。なぜこの私がそんなことをせねばならんのだ。見ず知らずの人間を助けろだと。
My heart grows cold, as if he'd stabbed me with a sword of ice. Time seemed to stand still. I forget how to breathe for a moment, and my lungs struggle for oxygen.
ちょっと失礼。
Oh, now somebody interjects 20 minutes later, you know. As I struggled to wrap my mind around my father's response, Yukitaka Oji-sama took my phone from my hand.
正一、久しぶりだね。少しは友人に連絡をよこしたらどうなんだい？
Still stunned, I watched Yukitaka Oji-sama talk to my papa. Between Papa's cold words and my worry over Okabe, I didn't have it in me to do anything else.
Kunya.
Farah-san comes over to me and gives me a hug. But because I still haven't regained my cool, I hung on to her. We didn't hang up on her. We're not on the phone with her, man.
私
今はパパに任せた方がいいよ。京馬は黒木に運んでもらったから。
Doesn't he always? I mean, he's been making him go into an unconscious state like now multiple times. So, at Farah-san's words, I look around the room and realize that Okabe had disappeared. Apparently, Kyuriki-san had taken him back to his room from the night before.
今の京馬には
How is he staying
これ以
hydrated?
上は辛すぎるから。
It was as if I had half reverted to a child. Okabe's reaction earlier had done something to me. I could hardly bear to witness it. Something in Okabe's mind must have snapped, worn out by the horrors he had witnessed. To cope with trauma like this, people often become numb and nihilistic, or mentally destroy themselves in their grief. Though in either case, the outcome is the same. They lose who they once were. Okabe was simply experiencing the latter. The weight of his grief has even deeply impacted me, and I'm only feeling his suffering by proxy. I never thought anything other than my father could make me give into my emotions like this. But what I'm going through speaks volumes about the tragedy that Okabe has experienced.
ねえ、クーニャ。
Ferris, seeing that I've calmed down a little, speaks to me, still holding me tight.
昨日、京馬が言ってたね。何回もマユシーが死ぬのを見たって。マユシーが死んじゃうのを止めるために、何度も時間を飛んだって。
Ferris gently caresses my head and keeps quietly talking to me, patting my back from time to time.
じゃあ、同じように時間を遡ったら、マユシー、助かるよね。
Bringing a friend back to life. If there were a way to do so, people would reach for it no matter the cost. Making a time machine the forbidden fruit. I, as a scientist, understand the weight of what she's asking. But even so, there was only one way I could answer.
助かるわ。まゆりは必ず助かる。私がそうしてみせる。
Perhaps this is how Okabe felt when he witnessed Mayuri's death. My logic and ethics are pushed aside by the dangerous allure of the time machine. Even if I have to risk everything, if there is a way to save Mayuri, I will find it. No matter how grave a sin it may be, no matter how it defies the laws of nature, if there is a means to an end, humanity will take advantage. Even if I had to give up my principles, if I can save Mayuri, to hell with them. If I can spare Okabe his pain, to hell with them. I'll bear the weight of my sins, I'll accept any punishment, an acceptable price, to give her her life back. Knowing full well that this defies the natural order.
クリスちゃん、
Yukitaka Oji-sama addresses me. Still with cell phone in hand, he's still on the phone.
正一と話すといい。手伝うと言わせたよ。
Lies. Papa? Help? What does that even mean? Seeing my numb response to his unbelievable words, Yukitaka Oji-sama placed the phone on the table. He then proceeded to turn on the phone's speaker function so everyone could hear.
じゃあ、頼むよ。
前はいつもそうだ。人の話を聞いてるのやら聞いてないのやら、挙句他人をおだてていいように働かせる。
言っただろ。それもビジネスのテクニックのうちだよ。さ、始めてくれ。
まったく。
While I haven't fully grasped the situation, Yukitaka Oji-sama and Dad are exchanging words. This is the first time I've heard Papa's voice free from anger or scorn in a long time.
クリス。
パパ。
Hearing him say my name so suddenly surprises me, almost making me break out in a cold sweat. What I managed to say barely qualifies as a response.
雪高から話は聞いたが、よくわからんことばかりだ。だが、とりあえずふざけているわけではないようだな。
Hey, back in my Steins Gate tier list that I did back when tier lists was a thing, did I ever put Ferris's father on there? If I did, where the fuck did I put him? I feel like he should be like in the S plus maybe. He honestly just seems like a fantastic guy. Fuck the guy we're talking to right now though. He falls silent for a while. It seemed he was having trouble finding his words. It's not surprising. Even I had trouble accepting the phone wave when I first saw it. Between my crying and Yukitaka Oji-sama's persuasion, he does seem to realize that we're not kidding, but I imagine he's finding it difficult to sort everything out in his head.
まずは根本的なところから始めるとしよう。クリス、本当にタイムマシンを作れたのか？
Yeah!
作れたわ。と言っても肉体を。
どの理論だ？ワームホールか？それとも超高速物質を発見したのか？まさか反粒子ではあるまいな。場のエネルギーを無限大に変換するやり方もあるが、非現実的すぎる。そうなるとやはり。
Papa interrupts my story to start interrogating me. Though I couldn't tell if he actually wanted me to answer his questions or if he was just thinking out loud. That's a regular occurrence for scientists, but it was remarkably frustrating in light of what was going on around us.
おいおい、正一、脱線してるぞ。
Yukitaka Oji-sama apparently felt the same way, as I did, and rebukes my father. Maybe he put me on speaker so he could support me this way.
雪高、そうは言うが、きちんと理解せねばアドバイスもしようがない。作戦すら立てられんぞ。
それには同意するよ。でも、人の命がかかってる。加えてあまり時間もないんだ。頼むよ。
He was clearly unsatisfied, but didn't seem unhappy. Perhaps he's taking this more seriously than I expected.
仕方のない。クリス、お前の作ったタイムマシンについて原理と状況を話せ。
はい。
Although I'm still processing what's going on, right now I certainly felt like our shattered father-daughter relationship was beginning to mend. You know, not the best situation for that to occur, but you know what, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we'll end it there since we're pretty much at our mark. I've noticed that there's like every 15 minutes or so, there's like a transition into like a breaking point or something like that. Like, it might be the same scene or something, so that actually kind of helps me keep context. Like, I don't know if it's always been like this, but I'm noticing it now, so I'll roll with it. And I think I did kill that fly because it has not made a reappearance, which is fine by me. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take it easy.